Hey crafters, welcome to today's craft project. This is the free September 2025 SVG, so if you're watching it after that you can still grab it. The links will be in the description below. But this month I am super excited about this one. It turned out way better than I thought it would. So this one includes some cardstock as well as vinyl in a card, and it's a bit of a layered card, and we'll go through things like how to layer, how to get the placement of the vinyl correct so that it doesn't look all wonky, but it came out really well. So if you are excited to create a project that includes vinyl as well as cardstock, then let's get crafting and we'll show you how to do it. Okay, so the supplies we're going to use today is we're going to use some black card, some cardstock, and then I'm going to use some vinyl. Now this vinyl is from Teckwrapcraft. I'll leave a link to it in the description below, but it is bubble free, so it's going to be perfect for our project for today. So I've got a whole range of colors, a little bit of scrap that I don't need, and some transfer tape. Excellent. So we're just going to cut some cardstock and some vinyl today for this project, this mixed project. I think that's about it. Let's get crafting. Okay, so once you've downloaded the file from my website, you can upload it to Design Space and it will look like this. Now, I like to just, before I start pulling the layers apart and everything, just make it exactly the size that I want to cut it out. So for my cards, it's just 14.5 centimeters square. That just fits perfectly on the card that I want. All right, so once that's done, if you go over here, you will see the SVG, and if you click on this, you will see all the different layers. Now you can leave them just like that if you like, it's not going to make a difference, but if you would like to separate them, you can, which means you can just move them all around and you'll see all these pieces are in different pieces. Now with this one today, I mean, you could, if you want, you could cut it all out of card and just make a layered card. But I'm going to do something a little bit different because I have some vinyl that I want to use that sometimes I find cardstock is a little bit boring. Vinyl has a lot more range of colors. So I am going to cut these black pieces out of card, but I'm going to cut all these other pieces out of vinyl. So doesn't make a lot of difference. It just means when we go to cut it out, we just have to choose different settings. So when you're ready to cut it out, you don't need to make any more adjustments. You could change the colors of things if you want them to be out of different colors. That way, when they're on the mat, it just makes it easier to tell which color to put in. But I'm just going to leave it as it is, and I'm going to click make. And once we get over here, we'll see that this one is on its own card, its own mat, and then these ones are on their own mat too. So all the different layers are there. So I'm going to cut this one out first because this is the one that's going to be cut out of cardstock. So we'll just go to continue, but I am going to cut it out of cardstock for intricate cuts. Now that just does 2 passes over the paper and gives me a really good cut. So we'll just go and cut those out first. So once we've cut those out of cardstock, the other layers are going to be cut out of vinyl. So the vinyl I'm cutting it out of is like a holographic vinyl. So I just click on here and I'm just going to choose holographic vinyl. I'm going to give it some more pressure, and then that will go through and cut out all of these, because I'm all going to cut all of these layers out of vinyl, so I don't need to change it. I'll just go cut out all of those layers. All right, let's do it. Now I've cut out all the pieces. We've got our pieces of cardstock here and we've got our vinyl. So now we are just going to put them all together. We'll start off by just weeding them. The good thing about this vinyl is it weeds very well. Okay, there we go. We've got all of our pieces weeded. Now we just need to put them together. So you might just put the happy birthday one together first. Move those out of the way. Okay, so for this, I'm going to use a piece of parchment paper. Now, in Australia, we call this baking paper. I literally got it from my kitchen, and it's what I use to put under my cakes when I make them. So this just helps to line things up before you stick them on. And because we're sticking onto card, we won't be able to pull the vinyl off and move it again. So we need to get it right the first time. So this will help. It is a fantastic hack. All right, first we will put the 2 layers together. So I just need a piece of transfer tape. Grab my old Cricut mat. Now there's no waste. I'm keeping this piece and putting it over to the side to use for another project. Okay, let's do this one. Now when you're peeling off the backing paper, it's always good to pull it very close to the transfer tape. That way, if something like this happens, then you can push it back down. Perfect. Now this is where our baking paper or parchment paper comes in handy. So we'll place this one on top, leaving a little bit at the top to just hinge it. And then we get it lined up. See, we can move it around. So we get it lined up perfectly. And once we've got it lined up, we can press that top piece up there and hinge it down. Then we can lift out the parchment paper and press it down. Perfect. Okay, so now we want to stick this onto here. So we'll peel off the backing paper again. Give it a bit of a rub. Perfect. Use our parchment paper again. And now we'll line this up with this one. You can see the black outline only barely, but it's enough. So we'll press that down, hinge that top part. Remove that. There we go. Perfect. Now we can remove the transfer tape. And there we go. There's our happy birthday. That actually looks really good. The holographic vinyl on the top. Perfect. Excellent. Give that a bit of a rub. Make sure it's all stuck down nice. There we go. And we can use that transfer tape for something else. Okay, there we go. Now, we have these little pieces to place on here. So we'll just reuse this transfer tape. And again with the parchment paper. Get this in the right spot. There we go. Hinge that down. And just be careful when you are working with paper and vinyl that you don't stick your transfer tape onto the paper too hard, because it might rip the paper. But there we go, that one's good. And it's just make sure the transfer tape is not too sticky, that helps as well. Okay. Okay. Now we'll stick on the leaf, do the same. And there we go, stick that piece just there. We'll just push it down. I'm only just going over the vinyl, not all of the transfer tape. Just to stick that on, there we go. Oops, didn't quite get the stem. That's better. There we go. I'll just put this over the top, give it a bit of a rub so as not to scratch the vinyl. All right, I've got the last piece left. Now this is not big enough, so I need another piece of transfer tape. Just have another scrap piece here. And perfect. Just make that a little less sticky so it doesn't stick to the paper. There we go. Our trusty parchment paper again. Leave a little bit at the top. And let's pop this one on. There we go. Just hinge it just with the vinyl there. The fact that this is bubble free makes it a lot better. It would still work with non-bubble free, but this just gives it a little bit, just helps it a little bit more to get no bubbles. But if you do smooth down from the top like that, you're less likely to get bubbles. Okay, now I didn't press down too hard, so hopefully it's enough. Just pull back gently. And there we go. Actually, that turned out better than I thought it would. That looks really good. Now, you could actually just leave it like that if you wanted. But what we are going to do is make it into a card with our happy birthday on the top. Now, you could stick this on any way you like. You could just stick it on like that. I'm going to give it a bit of dimension with some 3-dimensional foam dots. So we're just going to stick that on the back of here first. You probably don't need this many, but that works. I like these because they've got this little pull tab. Very cool. Then it's just a matter of lining it up and sticking it on. And there we go, we've got the top of our pumpkin happy birthday. I am really happy with the way that turned out. Fantastic. And so just to finish it off, I have just got a piece of card that I've cut to the right length, and we'll just fold it in half and pop the card on. Now you could put another square of card on there if you wanted some different color on the background, but I don't mind the white. I think that looks okay. So we will just get some glue and stick this down. And there we go. Sparkly, shiny, fall loving happy birthday. There we go. And I think that turned out very well. I love it. What do you think? If you crafted along with me today, I would love to see your final project. And until next time, happy crafting and have a great week. See ya.